Hey everyone, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from ODQ.com. Welcome to my post Hell in a Cell review video. It has been the night from hell from a technical standpoint, but I will talk about that at the end. Right now, I want to get right to my thoughts on the pay-per-view. It's 11 p.m. on the West Coast. It's pretty damn late. Hell in a Cell was overall an awesome show. I would definitely give it a thumbs up, B plus rating from myself. I thought the two Hell in a Cell matches, both of them delivered and perhaps even exceeded expectations. I thought Usos and New Day was outstanding. I expected it to be a great match. I figured that with the track record, those guys were not going to have a bad match. And it was awesome. They did a lot of cool, innovative stuff. You had all sorts of weapons. You had a gong. You had a bunch of kendo sticks. You had the unicorn kendo stick. Let's go ahead and talk about the first Hell in a Cell match, the tag team Hell in a Cell match. I got the live chat here. Let me know what you guys thought about the tag team Hell in a Cell match and your favorite moments from that match. I just thought it was very entertaining from start to finish. You even had the cowbell in that match. So you had all these different weapons. You had the Usos and the kendo sticks with the guys being stuck in the corner. I thought that that was really creative. You had the guys flying over the top into the cage. Lots of really good stuff. And I felt that that match really delivered. Good way to kick off the pay-per-view. Maybe the best opening match for a pay-per-view in a very long time. Let me know what you guys thought. William Gray says, amazing match. Lots of new spots. Let me know what you guys thought in the live chat. Thank you for tuning in at this very late hour. I know a lot of you are on the East Coast. Relaxing Ghost said, pay-per-view of the year. It's very close. I'm not sure if I've given a pay-per-view an A grade this year. Maybe one of you out there knows if I have or not. I don't recall giving any pay-per-view an A. For me, this was definitely a B plus. The kickoff was fairly standard. Smooth Entertainment said Usos and New Day did it again, match of the year candidate. I think I would agree on that. That was definitely up in the runnings, I think, for a match of the year contender. I think that it was probably my favorite PG Hell in a Cell match since 2008. I mean, some might debate that the Edge Undertaker match from 2008 was the best PG era Hell in a Cell match. But for me, it's really close. I was definitely entertained with this one from start to finish. Ben Jones said, did you give Great Balls of Fire an A? I'm not sure if I did or not. I would have to look back on that. It takes a lot for me to give a show an A rating. I don't think I did, but it was close. I mean, it might have been a B plus. I'm not sure exactly what I gave that pay-per-view. We had the kickoff match with Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin defeating the Hype Bros. I got it right this time, Hype Bros. And I'm fine with that. I thought it was a standard kickoff match, but you know, with the Usos regaining the titles, they need some babyface contenders, and it makes sense to have Gable and Benjamin move up the rankings and maybe get a tag team title shot. Bootleg says, is Nakamura officially buried? So let's go ahead and talk about that. Oh, by the way, Badger's asking panel question mark. Major technical difficulties tonight. I will discuss that at the very end of the video. For people tuning in right now, I'm sure they would like to hear about the actual thoughts on the pay-per-view from myself. So this is an attempt for me to salvage the disaster that was the panel video, but I will talk about that at the end again. Let's talk about Nakamura and Jinder Mahal. I was personally bored with it. I'm not a fan of this Jinder Mahal WWE title reign. He is basically JBL 2.0. Complete with his own cabinet. Instead of the cabinet, he has the Singh brothers. It was interesting that Mahal won, and he won fairly cleanly for a Jinder Mahal match. I have to say, you know, the problem is that it should have been done with him a long time ago. He should have been winning matches in a semi-clean fashion when it first started. And now I just don't care. As Darren Gray says here, Jinder Mahal is going to hold it until WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble. Would not surprise me if it ends up being John Cena versus Jinder Mahal at WrestleMania. Rick says it was the worst match of the night, Mahal and Nakamura. It feels like Nakamura is going nowhere. What's next for him? Where does it go from here? Some might argue that it was too soon for Nakamura to win the title. I mean, it just depends on your own personal opinion on it. I just feel like Mahal as champion isn't working for me. And yeah, as Vince Out of Touch McMahon says here in the chat, Mahal has had no good matches. I think this match was okay, but it was really nothing special. For me, it was very forgettable. I felt most of the undercard was pretty lackluster. You had Randy Orton versus Rusev, which I thought was an okay match, but Randy Orton picked up the win. It was fairly standard. It felt like something you would have watched on SmackDown, and some people feel Rusev is getting buried. I mean, I expected Orton to win, so that was not a surprise. I figured Orton would pick up the win. I guess you could have Orton versus Mahal again. I'm not sure what you do with Randy Orton at this point. Just feels like he's really going nowhere. You had the triple threat match, which was originally supposed to be a one-on-one match, but we had the addition of Ty Dillinger added to the mix, which I expected Corbin to win the title here, and I guess by doing the triple threat, you could have Ty Dillinger take the fall, which is what happened. I did like the near fall they did where AJ kicked Dillinger and Dillinger fell onto Corbin and almost got the win. The crowd really bought into that. Robert says, want to Skype call me. I might not be using Skype anymore, guys. Again, I'll talk about that at the end, the whole debacle I had tonight with Skype. Tyler Joseph Smith is here, and it's got to be pretty late, shouldn't you be in bed by now, Tyler? What is it, like 2 o'clock over on the East Coast? This is really late. I'm doing this video very late because of the technical problems I had earlier, but I want to just focus on giving my thoughts on the show. So the triple threat match I thought was pretty good, but not great. Baron Corbin winning the U.S. title, I more or less expected that. Now the question is, where does AJ Styles go from here? He lost the title, but he was not involved in the fall. AJ hit the phenomenal forearm on Dillinger, and then Corbin took the credit to win the title. So WWE could do a rematch, AJ versus Corbin one-on-one for the title, or AJ could perhaps challenge the Maharaja, Jinder Mahal, at Survivor Series. So what do you guys think is next? Do you think AJ will end up facing Corbin again, or would you like to see AJ dethrone Mahal at Survivor Series? Or will AJ just be a guy to put over Mahal until John Cena comes back and it's Cena versus Mahal, Mr. USA versus the evil heel foreigner? What do you guys think? Robert said, I fell asleep during the women's title match. I thought the women's title match was disappointing. I was hoping Charlotte would win the title here and have that feel-good story with her winning the title and dedicating it to Ric Flair. But it looks like they're dragging it out. I'm not a fan of DQ finishes on pay-per-view matches. I get it. They're trying to keep this going for a while. Virtue's here. So Virtue, I mean, you know the whole debacle. I'll explain it to everybody at the end what's going on with that. Let's talk about the main event. The main event, we had Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon. I thought it was a really strong match, very long. This pay-per-view went pretty long. It went about 3.5 hours, I believe, maybe close to that. I really enjoyed it. I felt that it was well-paced, and, they slowly built up to the big spots. Eventually, about 20 minutes in or so, they ended up on top of the cage. And I'm not sure how you guys felt, but every spot they did on top of that cage, I was all cringy and nervous. I felt like something really bad might be happening. So it was definitely intense. And, they did repeat the spot with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose where Owens was halfway down the cage and got knocked off through a table. And at this point, some people on Twitter were complaining, saying, is this it? All this hype and build up for this? But then, of course, Shane was not done. Shane jumped up at the top and did his big elbow. And I got to give WWE credit for the camera angle. I did not even notice Sami Zayn when they had the first shot of Shane jumping off the top with the elbow. I thought Owens just moved out of the way, but then they showed the second shot in the replay where you could see Sami Zayn pulling Owens to safety. So I did mention this a few weeks ago. I did mention, the segment they did on SmackDown several weeks back. They had Kevin Owens beating the crap out of Sami Zayn, and Owens was going to do some serious damage. He had the steel chair wrapped around Zayn's neck. You had Shane McMahon come out and accidentally bum rush Sami Zayn. Now, afterwards, Shane did not check on Zayn's condition. Shane was so focused on Owens that he did not check on Zayn and did not pay any attention to Zayn, even though he accidentally hurt him. So I figured this would be a great way to turn Sami Zayn heel, as I talked about in No DQ video and in other videos over the past several days. And WWE did, in fact, follow up on this with a Sami Zayn heel turn. Now, I did talk about over the past few weeks, I have mixed feelings about it because Sami Zayn is a great baby face. He reminds me of Ricky Steamboat. How do you make this guy a bad guy? How do you make him a villain? It might work. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. We'll see what happens. I like the angle. It does make sense. Zayn can come out there and say that Shane did not care about his well-being and was reckless. And, he can try to justify it. So it could be an interesting storyline, and we could have Zayn and Owens finally as a team together, which is a nice change of pace. And another great thing about it is Zayn is finally back in a main event storyline. For several weeks, he was not even on television. It felt like he was going nowhere. Now he's right back in the thick of things. So both Hell in a Cell matches I thought were great. I was disappointed with Charlotte and Natalya, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. If it was building up towards the Starrcade show in Greensboro, it would have made perfect sense to drag this out and have Charlotte win in North Carolina in Ric Flair country. But if that's not being televised, which I don't think it is, they've already done the seat configuration and they don't even have a setup for cameras. Why delay it? Why not just get it over with? Ric Flair's recovering, and you never know when his health might take a turn for the worse. So why not just shoot the angle? So I was a little disappointed with that. Dolph Ziggler versus Bobby Roode was pretty disappointing. Ziggler came out with basically no entrance, and the finish was them doing the roll-ups, and Ziggler tried to grab the tights, but then Roode did the same thing and was able to win it. And immediately after, you had Ziggler lay out Roode with the zigzag. I thought the match was pretty disappointing. So I felt the middle of the show was very much a mixed bag. But the two main events, the beginning and the end, were outstanding. And if the undercard was just a little bit stronger, I would have given this show an A rating. But as it is, I give it a B+. I think it was a good but not great show. Now, regarding the technical difficulties, so I recorded a panel video right after the pay-per-view with Jeff Meacham, Virtue, and Jexy. Now, unfortunately, after the recording was done, I found out that the entire video had the screens flickering. There's 4 screens for the panel videos, and everybody's screen behind was flickering the entire time. And I have no idea why it does this. I've never had this problem before doing one of these panel videos. So I was really frustrated about that. The plan right now is I'm going to save the file as an audio with a still image, and it will be up tomorrow morning. It's going to take something like 6 or 7 hours to save on Final Cut Pro. So if you guys would like Jeff's opinion and Virtue and Jexy, we will have the audio of that. At least the audio was salvageable. That will be up Monday morning. So stay tuned for that. Any other thoughts you guys have? Anything else you would like me to discuss? We'll go ahead and talk for a few more minutes, and then I'll wrap this thing up and try to get that video saved with the audio for tomorrow. Yeah, Virtue. It will be up tomorrow. The audio will be up tomorrow, so you guys can hear us talk about the show and more of our immediate reactions. So anything else, you guys, any other comments you have about the pay-per-view, I will go ahead and read off some of them, what you liked, what you didn't like, how it could have been better. Go ahead and leave your comments. This is a chance for you guys to get your thoughts out there. How long will the Sami Zayn storyline last if Owens is going to Raw? That's a great question. So Kevin Owens was advertised for Raw next week in Portland, which I will be at, which makes you think they're going to do some sort of storyline where Owens is perhaps kicked off of Raw. So maybe Owens and Zayn will be separated. Maybe there'll be a package deal. Maybe there'll be a trade 2 for 2. There's a lot of different ways it can go. What do you guys think might be the best way? Let me know what you think. Tyler said, is it over an hour? It was about 40 minutes in regards to the panel video, and that should be up tomorrow morning with the 4 of us, just with a still image, because the video was just completely foobar, as Jeff would say, effed up beyond all recognition. So yeah, that was unfortunate, and I have a $2,000 Mac, and I paid for the software here, so it's pretty frustrating to have those technical difficulties on a 40-minute video. And I always do test videos too. We did a test video and everybody's video was fine. Then we shot the video, and then when it was over, I realized the whole thing was screwed up. Yeah, Jeff was in the boiler room too, so you guys are going to miss out on that. Jeff was in some sort of creepy, to celebrate October, of course, with Nightmare on Elm Street. Interstate Kyle, Jinder Mahal has held the title longer than AJ Styles now. Yeah, that's true. And we were joking about it on the panel video. Like, what if what if Mahal becomes the longest reigning champion past CM Punk? Would WWE actually go through with something like that? I don't think it's going to happen. I think Cena's going to win the title. That is my gut feeling here. Mika says from Mexico, big push for Sami Zayn. I hope so. I mean, this was a main event storyline, and Sami Zayn, this was a big deal for a lot of people. We haven't really seen a heel turn like this in a while, especially from a character that has been such a beloved babyface. It is like Ricky Steamboat going heel or Sting going heel. Will it work? I hope it does work. Zayn is a pretty good talker, so he might be able to get it to work. But he works so well as an underdog babyface. It's going to be interesting to see if he can pull it off and become an effective heel. When will Carmella cash in? I have no idea. I would think it would happen fairly soon after Charlotte wins the title, which I think will happen. It's just a matter of time. WWE will do that feel-good story. And guys, I know you're sending me comments about Raw. Right now, I just want to focus on Hell in a Cell. Anything else you guys would like me to comment on, or any comments you have? I was at Detroit from Brian. The crowd popped huge for AJ, Shinsuke, and Shane. Well, thank you for that note. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. I mean, I'm sure you enjoyed the Hell in a Cell matches. What if this is Zayn and Shane conspiring together? Okay, why would they conspire? I mean, Zayn pretty much screwed over Shane big time there. I highly doubt that was them in cahoots. That makes no sense. Do you care about the women's championship? I do. I mean, I like Natalya's champion. I just think that they should have gone with Charlotte and told that story with her winning the title. But, if they're going to slow build it, I just wish, they were televising the Starrcade event, because ideally that would be the best place for a title change. Will the Carmella cash-in be successful? It's hard to say. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of another title change. I like Carmella. I think she's improved over the past year, but I'm not sure if she should be winning the title. But at the same time, there was already one failed cash-in, so I think it's a good idea to have her cash-in be successful on that note. What's next for Orton? Heel turn? Well, the thing is, with Sami Zayn turning heel, I don't see that happening. Now, Randy Orton really wants to go back to being a heel. He said that publicly recently. But with Zayn turning heel, I don't think that's going to happen right now. I really have no idea what's next for Orton. It just feels like he's there, you know? He's a big star, but it doesn't feel like they're going to do anything significant with him. He already feuded with Mahal. Maybe he'll feud with Corbin for the U.S. title and AJ goes into the main event picture. I don't know. I would assume something like that is going to happen. Nathan says, "How are you?" I've been better. You know, I'm doing okay now, but earlier I had the night from hell. We tried to record with Interstate Kyle actually, and he was having technical problems. And then, of course, the whole fiasco I mentioned a few minutes ago. It was a nightmare. It was just a technical nightmare from hell. Like Freddy Krueger invaded my Mac. It was pretty bad. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It's getting late. I'm gonna try to get that other clip up so it'll be available on YouTube in the morning. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed Hell in a Cell. Like I said, B+ show. Definitely check out the 2 cell matches if you have not watched it yet. Those 2 are definitely worth the price of admission. And I will see you guys tomorrow night for No DQ Live, post Monday Night Raw, as well as post SmackDown. So stay tuned. More of that coming, and I will see you guys next time.